Yo, what's good everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula. Welcome to today's Pokemon Go video, and today we're going to be doing a tier list for every single grass type Pokemon that's currently available in Pokemon Go. This is the one type in Pokemon Go that I feel is the most numerous. There are so many grass types in the game, and that means there's going to be a lot of Pokemon that we're going to have to rank. But with that said, let's just dive right into it. Considering there's so many of them, we should just get right into it. I wanted to start off with some trash tier Pokemon. This is, of course, going to be pretty much a majority of grass types. A lot of these Pokemon are not going to be useful. Some of them might be good for the Little Cup, but aside from that, there really is no point in powering up any of these Pokemon, so I'm just going to throw them down here. We got Budu, Bellsprout, oh my god, the Bounsweet, and then Bulbasaur, and then Cacnea. All these Pokemon are not any good. They're basically just there to exist. And yeah, expect this trash tier to be full of different Pokemon, but we might see a couple of surprises here and there. So yeah, just so you know, Bounsweet is about to get its Community Day. That's going to be quite exciting, but not necessarily for Bounsweet itself. The evolved forms are going to be pretty good after that Community Day, but besides that, we'll talk about that later. Next up, let's get into Breloom. I do not find this Pokemon useful by any means. Some people might make an argument for the Go Battle League, but my goodness, there's so many counters to this Pokemon, you're never going to find it useful. And then we got Bellossom. This one I'm going to put in the, let's say, the D tier. Not really that good. There's obviously a much better form of this Pokemon. Actually, not even. Like, I would say this is actually better than Vileplume. We'll get into that later. But, you know, for both of these Pokemon, I just can't find any good uses for them. Maybe in the Go Battle League you can make a case for Bellossom, especially because it does have a pretty good moveset. You know what, because then I'm going to throw it in the C tier, because some people might be able to use it in the Go Battle League. But yeah, not many players are going to find a lot of success with it, so yeah, it's going to be in the lower tiers. Bayleaf is another trash tier Pokemon. There's no real case where you're ever going to use Bayleaf. If you're going to use Bayleaf, you might as well use its evolved form, Managium. And yeah, we'll talk more about that later. Next up, we got Arbavola. I forgot most of these Pokemon's names, so bear with me as I go through this. This one's going to be a D tier. Not really good by any means. I did try it out in the Go Battle League when it first came out. Did not get any success with it. It's not really that good. Some people might make an argument for it, but there's so many better grass types for the Go Battle League. You might as well just skip out on ever using that one. Amoonguss is going to be a D tier. Much of the same reasons. There's no case where you're ever going to use it, but it does give you bonus Stardust when you catch it in the wild. So maybe because of that, I'm not going to throw it in the trash tier. Now, let's talk about Cacnea's evolved form. I forgot a lot of these Pokemon's names. This one I'm going to put in the C tier. Actually, no, D tier. It's not good. No place in the game where you're going to find it useful. Some people might say it's good for raid battles, but my goodness, there's so many good grass types for raids. We're going to get more into them later. This is going to be a D tier. Joining it is going to be Carnivine. I know Carnivine has its fans, but aside from it being a regional, there's nothing really special about Carnivine. Yeah, it's going to be a D tier. Abomasnow. This one I'm going to put in the A tier. Now, the reason why I say that is because Abomasnow is actually quite useful as a Pokemon. Like, when it comes to certain raids, or like, I guess, like legendary raids that are weak against ice, you're definitely going to want to use some Abomasnows, maybe a Shadow Abomasnow. You know, it's a pretty decent Pokemon, and yeah, even in the Master League or the Ultra League, you're going to find a lot of Abomasnows, maybe even in the Great League. Like, it's a very useful Pokemon, and it's definitely one worth investing into. Now, of course, its Mega Evolution, that's going to be an S tier, simply for the fact that it is a Mega Evolution. Mega Abomasnow is actually quite useful. If you do not have yourself a really good Ice-type or Grass-type Mega Evolution, this is your next best option. Mega Abomasnow is quite good, and in certain raids, you're going to find it to be absolutely useful. Celebi is going to be a B tier. It's pretty decent as a Great League Pokemon, I suppose, but aside from that, you're never really going to use it. It's basically just kind of a niche pick within the Great League or any of the specialty cups. So yeah, it's going to be a B tier for me. Now, let's get into this family right here. The Cherubi family. They're all gonna be trash tier. There's no reason for you to ever power them up, even if you have a Shundo. It's basically just there to fill your Pokedex. There's no reason for you to ever invest into these. Chestnut, on the other hand, that's gonna be a B tier. I actually like Chestnut. There's a lot of Go Battle League teams that actually benefit from this Pokemon. It has a pretty unique type combination of fighting and grass, and it does have access to that Community Day move, which Frenzy Plant. Yeah, it does have access to Frenzy Plant, so that does actually make it quite good. And then, of course, the pre-evolve forms are not going to be good. Some of these might actually be good for the Little Cup, and if they are, like, definitely correct me in the comments down below. I know whenever I do these tier list videos, I tend to put like the basic evolution forms down in the trash tier, but sometimes they are actually good for the Little Cup. And if that's the case, then you should definitely say so in the comments, so players do not make the mistake of just completely discrediting them. Cradilly is going to be a D tier. It's not really that good, but maybe in the lower ranks of the Go Battle League you could find some uses for it. And then when it comes to this Pokemon, which I completely forgot the name of, it's the evolved form of Rowlet. It's going to be a trash tier. But Decidueye is going to be a C tier. Yeah, they're actually pretty good, both of them. They're pretty good in the case that, like, you do not have other good grass types for raid battles or PvP, but yeah, they're decent. Let's just say that. They're not going to be good enough to be in the upper tiers, but they're decent enough where they're not going to be a trash tier or a D tier. And then we got some more trash tier Pokemon. Let's just throw these in. These are Deerlings of all different varieties. I don't know why I have all 4 Deerling forms on this list. They're all pretty much the same. They're not good. Yeah, more trash tier Pokemon. My goodness, there's gonna be a lot of trash tier Pokemon. I'm very much not a fan of any of these Pokemon, but in any case, yeah. We got Hisuian Electrode. This one I'm gonna put in the A tier for the very simple fact that in certain specialty cups, this Pokemon is a huge menace. It has a very unique type combination of grass and electric, which is a type combination you never see. And because of that, this Pokemon actually has a lot of good uses. It has a lot of good type coverage as well. So yeah, A tier Pokemon, do not sleep on it. If you're looking for a really good Pokemon for a specialty cup or even in the Great League, that is a Pokemon you should go to. Execute is going to be trash tier, but Executor, I'm gonna put in the C tier. This Pokemon used to be a top tier when it comes to the Ultra League, but it fell off quite a bit, and that's probably because there's a lot better Pokemon that have been released since then, and I think this Pokemon is unfortunately relegated to the C tier. It's not going to be good enough to be up here, but it's somewhat decent. It might be a good beginner Pokemon if you're trying to crack into the Ultra League. So yeah, that's going to be a C tier Pokemon. Alolan Executor, on the other hand, is going to be a D tier. Very few uses for this Pokemon. It has the dual typing of Grass and Dragon, which is quite unique, but aside from that, there's no reason for you to ever power up that Pokemon. Next up, we got Pharaoh Seed. That's going to be trash tier, but this one, actually, which one is which? I forget. Well, yeah, regardless of the names, this one is going to be down here. This one's going to be up here. It's a very good Pokemon when it comes to the Go Battle League. You definitely do not want to skip out on it. If you can get yourself PvP IVs of this Pokemon, you definitely want to power it up and get it ready for the Go Battle League. Now, this is Meowscarra, I believe. This one's going to be trash tier. Flonase, I'm going to call him Flonase. Yeah, it's going to be trash tier. Same with this one, although this one I'm actually going to throw up here because you do get bonus Stardust when you catch it, so that's what makes it somewhat useful. Yeah, aside from that, don't ever count on it. D tier for Gloomy. Oh my god, I am struggling with these Pokemon names. I need to learn my Pokemon names. I am not familiar with anything past Johto, or Sinnoh, I should say. Like, I've been playing Pokemon games forever, but let's be real here. There's close to 800, 900 species now of Pokemon. I can't memorize every single one of them. Gloom, I feel like I should have known because that is a Kanto Pokemon, but that's going to be D tier regardless. There will be some specialty cups where you will want to use Gloom. It has a very nice type combination of poison and grass and some really good moves with those typings. So in some cases, it's going to be top tier when it comes to specialty cups. But aside from that, you're never going to use it. Now this Pokemon, it's the Go-Goat. Go-Goat, right? Yeah, I think that's its name. I'm gonna put this in the B tier. There was some rumblings, some sayings about how it could potentially be a meta killer within the Go Battle League, but it did not end up becoming so. But I still think this Pokemon has a lot of potential, and yeah, it's definitely one you should consider trying out. Now we got Pumpkaboo's evolution. That's gonna be trash tier. I'm gonna put it in the C tier. I actually remember for like Halloween Cup, maybe, it was actually really good. So let's kind of put it in the C tier. It's gonna be a niche pick, but aside from that, yeah. Same kind of goes for this guy. It's not going to be good in any aspect of the game except for certain specialty cups where you might actually find some uses for it. Now, let's see here. This is going to be trash tier. Hoppip is trash tier. Ivysaur is going to be up here. Do not sleep on Ivysaur. That is a very solid Pokemon for the Great League. And then certain specialty cups where it is eligible, it typically is top tier. You do not want to discount this one. And then we got Jumpluff. For the same reasons, it's somewhat decent in the Go Battle League. I think there are certain cases where it could actually potentially be useful. Actually, I've actually used it a lot of times in the Great League when I'm messing around with different team makeups. So I'm actually going to put it in the A tier. It does have access to, I think it's acrobatics. That is a very powerful move. And yeah, because of that, yeah, I'm going to consider it an A tier. Now, here we go. Kartana. Without question, S+ tier. It is the absolute best grass type raid attacker that's not a mega or a shadow, and even among shadow Pokemon, it is much better. So yeah, do not sleep on Kartana. It is extremely squishy. It's probably one of the squishiest glass cannons in the game, but my goodness, the amount of damage output of this one Pokemon makes it incredibly useful, especially in raid battles that are weak against grass. So yeah, definitely an S+ tier Pokemon. If you get yourself a 100% IV of Kartana, you absolutely must max it out as soon as possible because it's going to be incredibly useful. It's also really good for Team Go Rocket battles and gym battles as well because it completely cuts down every single Pokemon. So yeah, that's definitely going to be an S+ tier. Do not sleep on that Pokemon. Next up, we got Leafeon. This is going to be a C tier. Some people tend to use Leafeon for a variety of different reasons, but it's not going to be top tier by any means. It's going to be a very mediocre grass type, and that's going to be true for a majority of these Pokemon. Next up is this guy. I am not familiar with this one, so because of that, I'm gonna actually put it in the trash tier. Some of these grass types, again, there's so many of them, like a lot of grass types to go over. A lot of them are going to be trash tier, and some of the ones that I throw in the trash tier, it's because I'm not familiar with that Pokemon at all. Like, I've never used it in any aspect of Pokemon Go. So if it is deserving of a higher tier, then you should definitely say so in the comments. Next up, we got more trash Pokemon. This one I think is also trash. 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 But then we got Ludicolo. This one's going to be a D tier. Somewhat decent as a raid attacker if you do not have grass types. It does have a very unique type combination of water and grass, so I do think this Pokemon might see some play in specialty cups, but aside from that, yeah, D tier Pokemon. The only thing it has going for it is that it is a pretty cool Pokemon. That's pretty much it. Next up, we got this lady. Forgot her name. Really good Pokemon for PvP. Actually, I'm gonna put it in the S tier. This Pokemon is top tier when it comes to the Great League. There's a lot of Pokemon that get countered by this one Pokemon. I'm going to put it in the S tier for now, but I feel like I'm going to bump it down to the A tier later on when we go over some Pokemon that are actually S tier. Like, for example, I'm going to skip over Maractus, but Managium. That is Managium. This Pokemon is an S tier. There are so many Go Battle League wins that I've had with this Pokemon. It's actually really powerful. It has access to Earthquake, which is a huge nuking attack in the Go Battle League, and also Frenzy Plant. This is a very powerful Pokemon, and it's extremely versatile. It has really tanky stats, so it could be in any role of your team. Yeah, you do not want to skip out on this Pokemon. If it ever gets its shadow form in the game, actually I think it does, but maybe I'm wrong there. That would be a pretty solid Pokemon for the Great League, so yeah. In any case, let's move on to Maractus. It's going to be down here in the D tier. It's basically for the same reasons as Carnivine. I'm going to actually put them right next to each other. It's cool. It's a Pokemon that you do not often see. Maybe it could be used to brag if you're like if you happen to get yourself a Maractus. But aside from that, no real uses for that Pokemon. I could be completely wrong. There might be some cases where it is actually really good, and I just am not aware of it. But for now, I'm gonna consider it a D tier. We got another trash tier actually, I'm gonna put this in the D tier. I don't know its name. It's it's the second stage, or is it? Is it the second stage? Maybe it's the, let me get a close look at it. Yeah, I think it's the second stage of, oh my god, what's its name? Sprigatito, yeah. D tier Pokemon for it, I guess. I don't really think it's any good anywhere. But yeah, let's move on to Morlul. It's just like, Fungus, it's going to be a D tier, should be a trash tier, but it does give you bonus Stardust. Nuzleaf, trash tier. Oddish, trash tier. Trash tier. Paris, up here, bonus Stardust. Parasect, up here, bonus Stardust. Trash. 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 Oh boy. Trash. Not trash. This one's going to be an A tier. Roserade. Roserade is probably the second best grass type raid attacker, simply because it has a very powerful grass type moveset, but some people actually use it for PvP as well. So yeah, let's consider it an A tier. We got Rotom. This is the grass type one, which is the mole one. Trash tier. Rowlet, it's gonna be trash tier. And these guys, I'm gonna consider trash tier as well. A lot of trash tier grass types. My goodness, there's not many. Alright, but let's move on to Sceptile. Sceptile. I'm gonna consider this an A tier, simply because it does have potential in raid battles. Never gonna be useful in PvP, but when it comes to raids, it can be pretty good. Now, Mega Sceptile, on the other hand, S+ tier. It is the absolute best grass type in terms of DPS right now. It's incredibly powerful. You do not want to sleep on that Pokemon. Next up, which one is this? This is Seedot, down here in the trash. Serperior, here we go. This is an S tier Pokemon for sure. It is incredible in PvP. It has access to a flying type attack, Aerial Ace, maybe? I can't recall, but this Pokemon has given me so much trouble in the Go Battle League. My goodness, I can't believe I haven't invested into one myself. It is incredibly powerful. It deals a lot of damage against very common Pokemon you would see. Yeah, definitely an S tier Pokemon. I almost want to put it in the S+ tier Pokemon, but it's only going to be good for PvP. So yeah, unfortunately, not good enough. This is gonna be trash tier. I can't even see them right now. Let's actually tilt down. Oh yeah, trash. Shaman. Let's put Shaman in the A tier. Very solid Pokemon. Do not sleep on that Pokemon. Can be a really good raid attacker. Some PvP teams are going to benefit from Shaman. Really powerful Pokemon. But Skyform Shaman, here we go. That's another S tier Pokemon. Some people are using this in raid battles and PvP. It's actually really good. It's quite up there when it comes to raid DPS. So do not sleep on that one. This is another Pokemon that I'm going to consider in the B tier. This is going to be a C tier for me. At one point, Shiftry was a very powerful grass type for the Go Battle League, but not lately. It's very squishy, so many counters against it. It's going to be C tier. You do not want to end up using it for the Go Battle League. Some people might end up finding it useful, considering it does have a community move, but aside from that, nah, it's not going to be that good. Some of these are going to be here because they give you bonus Stardust. Pansage, going to be trash tier. This one, is this Go-Goat? Oh no, this is the thing that evolves in the Go-Goat. Trash. 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 My god, so much trash. This one, I know for a fact, is good in the Little Cup. I think. C tier for now. Sprigatito, trash. We're about to run out of a room. We're gonna run out of room here. Let's see, trash. Trash. So many Pokemon that have the grass typing. What is going on here? Alright, we're getting close. Alright, here we go. There is an A tier Pokemon. S tier. Actually, I think this makes more sense. Yeah, so the two Shamans are going to be A tier. This one's going to be S tier. It is actually quite good. I think a lot of people tend to sleep on Tangrowth, not only is it a top tier raid attacker, it is really good for PvP. Some people have been using Tangrowth to good success. Definitely do not sleep on it. Tapu Bulu, oh my god, it's probably one of the worst legendaries in the game. Some people actually find it useful because they do not have Kartana, but aside from that, it's so mediocre. I'm gonna put it in the A tier for now though, because it can be really good. It's essentially a B tier Pokemon for raids, yeah, so why not? We'll keep it a B tier here as well. Now this one is also going to be right here. Some players, oh actually, what am I saying? This is actually a really good Pokemon for the Ultra League. Some people actually use this Pokemon to great success. I forgot what it's called. Torterra? Torterra. I remembered it. So Torterra is actually pretty good for the Ultra League. It's not going to be in the upper S tier list of, you know, Ultra League Pokemon, but you can use this Pokemon to great success. Sometimes in the Great League as well. Unfortunately, this is actually one of my favorite starters, Trico, but it's going to be trashed here. Alright, here we go. We got ourselves an S tier Pokemon. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting a lot of these Pokemon's names. This is because there's so many of them. There's so many. Phantoms, Evolution. Don't tell me. I use this Pokemon in all of my Go Battle League teams, and yet I forgot what it's called. My god. Alright, well, S tier Pokemon. It is one of the best Pokemon. It's unfortunately falling off every single season, but my goodness, if you can build a team around this Pokemon, you're gonna have a really good time. It's a very powerful Pokemon, and has a very awesome moveset with a lot of high pressure. Certain specialty cups where it's going to be available, you're gonna be able to use it to great success. Definitely S tier for me, even though it has fallen off quite a bit. Alright, here we go. This one I'm actually going to put in the S tier as well. Now, why do I say that? Well, Tropius is another Pokemon that I use quite often in the Go Battle League, and my goodness, it's basically like the better version of Jumpluff, but the moveset that this Pokemon has is incredibly spammy, and it's actually quite good. If you happen to have yourself a PvP IV Tropius, you're going to find yourself getting like 15 wins in a row. Maybe you'll lose one or two because they happen to have a Talonflame or something, but yeah, Tropius is really good. It's kind of been my secret weapon for a very long time. Alright, trash tier, I don't know. It's trash tier because I don't know about it. Venusaur, here we go. One of the OG grass type raid attackers, and PvP as well. This one's going to be A tier for the simple reason it's top tier when it comes to the Ultra League. It's a hard counter to Swampert. And then, of course, when it comes to raids, pretty decent. It's a B tier. If you do not have any of these good grass types, you should go with Venusaur. It's not bad of a pick. But Mega Venusaur, oh yeah, S+ tier Pokemon. It's kind of like the tankier version of Mega Sceptile. It's still going to deal some really high-end grass type raid damage, but it's also going to be tankier. It has a much higher TDO. And when it comes to Mega Evolutions, you want them to last in battle much longer. So, because of that, yeah, definite S+ tier Pokemon. It's probably going to be the last one out of all these, but yeah, let's keep it going. Victory Bell, our favorite screaming grass type. That's going to be a B tier. It's a staple for most grass hole teams. It's pretty good. And recently, it got a community day move, which did give it a slight bump, but it wasn't a major upgrade, but still a pretty good Pokemon. You're going to find a lot of uses for it. Alright, Vileplume, we talked about this one earlier. It's going to be a C tier. You know, it's basically a weaker version of Venusaur. Very similar moveset. It's not going to be that good, but some people might end up using it. Alright, Virizion, here we go. We got some PvP Pokemon. This one's going to be an S tier. It's a staple Pokemon when it comes to the Ultra League. You want this Pokemon for the Ultra League. It's incredible. Like, this one Pokemon can net you so many wins because there's very few Pokemon that actually counter it within the Ultra League. And the ones that do, you can just switch out of it and catch them off guard. So, yeah, Virizion is an S tier Pokemon. I'm still trying to build one out for myself. Now, Hisuian Voltorb, I hear, is really good for the Little Cup. I am completely unfamiliar with the Little Cup. It's the one specialty cup that I always skip. But from everything that I've heard, it is actually pretty good. So, yeah, C tier Pokemon for me. This one's going to be in the trash tier, trash tier, trash tier. And then finally, we got Zarude. S tier Pokemon. If you have yourself a 100% IV Zarude, you need to max it out because it is a really good Pokemon for raid battles. It's going to get outclassed by Pokemon like Kartana, but I still think it's going to be considered top tier. A lot of hard counters, a lot of like raid guides that list off the hard counters. Zarude is typically there if grass types is a weakness of that raid boss. So yeah, there you go. Every single grass type that's currently available in Pokemon Go in a tier list. Now let's do a couple of edits because as I was doing this, I felt like some things needed to change. I think among all of these, some of these need to get bumped down a little bit. I'm gonna put Tangrowth down here. Yeah, it's a top tier raid attacker, but next to Zarude, I guess it's not going to be like comparable. Trevenant, that's the name of this Pokemon. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it in the S tier. One of my favorite Pokemon to use in the Go Battle League. Yeah, it's gonna get bumped down pretty soon as more and more counters to it get released, but yeah, it's gonna be up there. Everything else looks solid up here. This is fairly accurate in my opinion. The two Powerhouse Mega Evolutions are obviously S tier. Mega Abomasnow is a good second option if you do not have either of these. This one is, yeah, I'm gonna keep these here. These are all really good PvP Pokemon, pretty decent raid attacker, really good for specialty cups. I feel like Tangrowth doesn't deserve to be up here either. Neither does Venusaur. I feel like these need to get bumped down. The Shamans I'm gonna bump down as well. Yeah, this is starting to make sense. Celebi I'm also going to bump down. Yeah, I think this is fairly accurate. Am I wrong here? Am I seeing something wrong here? Yeah. Oh, I should point out. So, I think I completely skipped over her. I just like threw her in the trash tier without thinking. I don't know, he or she, depending on the gender of the Pokemon. Oh my god, I can't find it. Maybe it's not here after all. But in any case, yeah, it's the evolved form of Bounsweep. That Pokemon is actually going to see a sizable upgrade during that community day. Where are you? Is that it? Is that it? Man, I'm such a noob when it comes to grass types. Like, I think like a majority of Pokemon Go players, they grew up with like Venusaur, they grew up with maybe Managium, Sceptile, you know, those are the ones that they're familiar with. But a lot of these newer ones from the newer generations, they're gonna go completely over people's heads. Yeah, I don't know. That's just... But that's gonna be it. There you go. This is the tier list for every single grass type in Pokemon Go. I think this is a good landing spot. I think this is pretty accurate based on all different aspects of Pokemon Go. Obviously, if you only care about raid battles, this is gonna look completely different. If you only care about PvP, also this is gonna look completely different. But when it comes to overall usefulness, this is fairly accurate in my opinion. But yeah, in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts regarding my tier list down below. What is a particular change that you would make to my tier list? Was I completely wrong about a specific Pokemon? Make sure you say so down below. And yeah, try to be nice because, like I said, not too familiar with all of these grass type Pokemon. There's close to 120 grass type Pokemon in Pokemon Go. Not all of them are going to be relevant. And not all of them are going to be Pokemon I'm going to dedicate Stardust to try out to see if they're any good. So yeah, but in any case, there you have it. Here's my tier list for grass type Pokemon. Make sure you share your thoughts down below in the comments, and thank you so much for making it to this point in the video. If you ended up enjoying it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And also don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. Now I want to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, the absolute best way you could do so is by becoming a paid Patreon member. If you do that, you get a permanent spot on my in-game Pokemon Go friends list. So that means for remote raids as well as the in-game friendship system, you could play with me. And to do that, all you have to do is become a paid Patreon member. So yeah, in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Oh, don't forget to follow me on social media. My handle is at Jinsula. You can see me on the following platforms. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow. Okay, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.